welcome the Minister.
Okay, sorry. Thank you, Ruchika. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Business Standard, I have the honor and pleasure to welcome Honorable Union Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Shri Sarbananda Sonowal, to this special Business Standard event on infrastructure, India Builds for Growth and Green. Mr. Sonowal has previously served as the Chief Minister of Assam, that was 2016 to 2021, and as the Union Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs and the Union Minister for State for Entrepreneurship and Skill Development. Under his leadership, the ministry is actively moving towards establishing Atmanirbharta in shipping and shipbuilding and has pushed for multiple joint ventures between Indian and major private sector shipyards. He is steering the 25,000 crore Maritime Development Fund for cheaper finance for large ships, a recycling scheme, and building maritime industrial clusters. Under Mr. Sonowal's leadership, the ministry was able to achieve a historic first with as many as 5 maritime reforms bill passed in the monsoon session of Parliament that ended today. A big applause for the minister, please. Honorable Minister, we are indeed grateful to you for agreeing to be here with us today, despite your busy schedule. May I now invite the Honorable Minister to please deliver his much-awaited keynote address. Over to you, Mr. Sonowal, please.
Namaskar. Today, I believe this particular occasion is specially dedicated for the infrastructure growth in the country. And for this summit, Business Standard Infrastructure Summit 2025, I got the invitation from respected A.K. Bhattacharya ji, respected Shailesh Doval ji, and all others, friends from Business Standard, and respected ladies and gentlemen. मैं आप सबको दिल की गहराइयों से शुभकामना देता हूं और आप सब देश के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है और आप सब एक भारतीय होने के नाते गौरवशाली भी है। I have a written kind of speech. I'll just cite it out. Please bear with me. Let me first of all express my heartfelt gratitude to Business Standard for inviting me to the first edition of Business Standard Infrastructure Summit today. A grand vision has been set forth by our Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji, to make India a Viksit Bharat, an Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant nation, a $30 trillion economy by Amritkal of 2047. A decade back, India was lingering at the 11th position in global ranking of economies, and within a short span of time, we have jumped to the fourth position, and very soon we are going to be the third largest economy of the world. This has not been an easy task. This required a grand vision, a vision which had a very clear direction, a perfect strategy, and above all the commitment, sincerity, and will to achieve the laid out goals. It required good governance, innovation, policy, financial and legislative reforms, and last but not the least, massive infrastructure development. Friends, let me quote our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji. We must invest in resilient infrastructure today for a better tomorrow. Our government, under his dynamic leadership, has embarked on this ambitious journey to revolutionize the country's infrastructure landscape, aiming to bolster economic growth, sustainable development, and at the same time being sensitive to the needs of the environment and ecological balance. To foster economic growth and development, this year's budget has allocated rupees 11.21 lakhs crore towards capital expenditure. This marks an over 5-time increase in capex allocation over the meager rupees 2 lakhs crore in 2014. Vision. Dear friends, have you thought why no reforms in the maritime sector were initiated in the years from 2004 to 2014 during the UPA regime? For reforms to be initiated, you need a vision. They sadly had no vision for the maritime sector too. They were sea blind. It once again required the visionary leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister to create a grand vision for reviving our maritime sector, for restoring our maritime sector to the glory it had witnessed over 5,000 years ago as the leading maritime nation of the world. Our Prime Minister recently went to Tamil Nadu and commemorated the 1,000 years of legendary maritime expedition of Rajendra Chola I to Southeast Asia. Only a person who cherishes his glorious past, that is Virasat, will be able to start a glorious future, that is Vikas. Such a person in our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. From no vision of the UPA regime, Modi ji gave us two grand visions: maritime vision, the Maritime India Vision 2030, and Maritime Amritkal Vision 2047. Under the Maritime Amritkal Vision 2047, aligned with Blue Economy principle, which lays a long-term roadmap to transform India maritime sector, investment in this sector is being scaled up to rupees 80 lakhs crore. Let me repeat, 80 lakhs crore. That is the target. It focuses on expanding port capacity, operational efficiency through digitization and automation, and promotion of green initiative like hydrogen hubs. The vision also aims to boost coastal tourism, strengthening maritime skill development, and positioning India as a global hub for shipbuilding, recycling, and repair. Millions of employment would be generated in the nation as a result of the far-reaching developmental outcome of this vision. Let us talk about legislative reforms. India's maritime infrastructure had been languishing for many decades. Please forgive me if I am making it look political, but I have to set the context why our nation was languishing with a very slow pace of development in the decades 2004 to 2014. Laws in the form of updated, globally aligned, business-friendly, forward-looking legislations are the foundation of any aspirational economy. Our nation was saddled with more than 1,500 legislation which were pre-constitutional, which we no more in sync with the contemporary global economic requirement. Who would have done business with such a nation carrying on with such archaic laws? We started this movement of transformation through reforming our legal system by updating our legislation and repealing pre-constitutional legislation which also were a symbol of colonial rule. Our ministry is a very important infrastructure ministry entrusted with maintaining global supply chain for ensuring unhindered trade and commerce. Our laws should always be updated and aligned with global best practices. Sadly, during the last 10 years from 2004 to 2014, we wasted a decade full of opportunities. Only one new legislation, namely the Indian Maritime University Act 2008, was enacted by the UPA regime. Whereas during the last decades of our good and reformative governance, we enacted 11 new legislation. During their 10 years, one, and during our 9 years' time, it is 11th. Some of our legislation dated back to 1856. Our earlier Indian Port Act was on 1908. Our Honorable Prime Minister has always alluded to speed and scale as a guiding principle in our governance, development, and reforms. With this spirit, I am very happy to state that after extensive stakeholders' consultation, discussion, and deliberation, and in the spirit of cooperative federalism, during this session of Parliament, we enacted 5 landmark legislation which will forever alter the maritime landscape of the nation, establishing a strong, business and environment-friendly, globally aligned and competitive legislation framework. Friends, legislative reforms, while providing a strong foundation and a trustworthy, business-friendly maritime legal framework in our nation, needs to be complemented with financial reforms, enabling flow of finances towards building a capital-intensive maritime sector. This year, Union Budget provided a strong impetus for the faster growth of this sector by way of several path-breaking budget announcements. Never in the history of Union Budget has so much support been given to the maritime sector. Maritime Development Fund with a corpus of rupees 25,000 crores, the new Shipbuilding Financial Assistance Policy 2.0, capability and capacity development and extension of tonnage tax scheme to inland vessels, extension of basic custom duty exemption on import material for shipbuilding and shipbreaking, conferring infrastructure status to large ship, facilitation of shipbuilding cluster have been transformative announcements. These are very soon going to get formal approval, laying out a comprehensive ecosystem for setting up of a robust and vibrant shipping sector in our nation. Friends, prior to 2015, this ministry did not have a flagship program of its own. This reflected the lack of sense of policy or program in the governance of UPA dispensation. Our Honorable Prime Minister launched the Sagarmala program in 2015. Currently, there are about 840 projects worth of rupees 5.8 lakhs crore for investment for the implementation under the Sagarmala program of the Ministry of Port Shipping and Waterways by 2035. 272 projects worth rupees 1.41 lakhs crore have already been completed and 217 projects worth rupees 1.65 lakhs crore are under implementation. Friends, in the sector of port development, the first major port project of this century initiated largest infrastructure project in the port sector till now. Work for building the largest port of the nation and also one of the top 10 container port of the world. Our EXIM cargo is going to double in value from 1.1 trillion US dollar today to more than 2 trillion US dollar by 2030, and our ports needs to gear up to handle this increased amount of EXIM cargo. Greenfield port at Vadhavan in Maharashtra with an investment of rupees 76,000 crores. It will be India's biggest port by capacity when operational. An international container transshipment terminal at Galathia Bay would also be built soon. Port, shipping and inland waterways have received a never-before-seen trust by our government-led Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. The investment made by the country in the port and shipping sector since 2014 on improvement of infrastructure under the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has started yielding results. Average container dwell time for India. It is very remarkable. Please listen. Average container dwell time for India as per World Bank's Logistic Performance Index reports 2023 has improved to only 3 days as compared to 4 days for countries like UAE, South Africa, 7 days for USA and 10 days for Germany. Indian ports turnaround time of 0.9 days is better than advanced maritime nations such as USA, Australia, Belgium, Canada, Germany, Singapore and many others. Today, 9 of our port figures in the top 100 container port of the world and 1 major port, Visakhapatnam port, features among the top 20 in the world as per the World Bank Container Performance Index reports. The crux of all our initiative is to ensure that a large chunk of India's cargo moves by inland and coastal waterways, a green mode of transport as the world looks at ways to reduce carbon emission. During the last 10 years, the cargo movement by inland waterways has increased by over 7 times and by over 150% in coastal waterways. In the PPP sector, the Ministry of Ports, Shipping Waterways in India is actively boosting private investment in the maritime sector through a multi-pronged strategy anchored in policy reforms, infrastructure development, and public-private partnership. The new Indian Port Bill 2025 provides clear provision for PPP and foreign investment, giving ports greater autonomy to set competitive tariff and plan long-term development. Additionally, the ministry has identified 50 PPP projects worth over 60,000 crores to be taken off in coming years, significantly exceeding its initial target under the National Monetization Pipeline. Further, the government aims to raise the share of private participation in major port to 85% by 2030. This initiative, combined with the establishment of bodies like Maritime State Development Council and state maritime boards, are expected to foster cooperative federalism and create a robust ecosystem for private and foreign investment. Green initiative. This is a key part of the government agenda. We have framed the Harit Sagar guidelines to promote green shipping, developing methanol and green hydrogen plant at major ports, bunkering of green fuel at major ports, and green corridor between ports, and for instance, between Dindal port in Gujarat and VOC port in Tamil Nadu. This is a huge opportunity for the private sector as it requires investment of thousands of crores. We are also in the process of introducing electric tax for port operation with at least 6 to 7 major ports floating tenders to charter green truck. The Hong Kong Convention has come into force on June 26 this year, and India is a party to the convention. Our ship recycling yard at Along in Gujarat have upgraded their facilities to comply with the convention and are in a strong position to become a preferred destination for global fleet owners to recycle their end-of-life ship in an environmentally sound manner. The investment requirement in our maritime sector will run into several lakhs of crores. So these are some of the exciting examples I have cited it out. And in the last 11 years, whatever initiative being undertaken by this ministry under the dynamic leadership of Honorable Prime Minister, because of his quality leadership, visionary leadership, this ministry could able to achieve this target. Earlier, the ports were not that way competent, and it didn't have that capacity to welcome the foreign fleets with goods, and also in the loading and unloading sector also they took a lot of times because of the lack of quality operational facilities. Now because of the modernization, mechanization and digitization, through this Sagramala program, we have set, Honorable Prime Minister has given this direction that unless you make your port modernized, world class, it is very difficult to adjust, to give the facility for bathing comfortably to the big vessels. Some vessels measures up to 300 meters, 400 meters. So with their adequate draft, you will have to create that ecosystem so that they feel at home. And they could also feel that this is a place where ease of doing business facility is very much available. So this confidence will have to be generated among the shipping liners and also the person involved in the export-import like business. They will have to make so connected in this particular facility improvement, infrastructure development, that tomorrow they feel very much relaxed to invest thousands of crores without any hesitation. So this is the way I believe our ports could able to enhance its capacity of cargo handling. Right from modernization, mechanization, digitization, then port-led connectivity enhancement. This is very, very important. Their port must be connected with railways and roadways so that the transporter have the easy access to the ports to transport their goods to the targeted destination of the globe. So this is one vertical. The other vertical, that port-led industrialization. The industry, the unit, whatever item they produce, manufacture, mean for the global market, it should be close to the port. That is why we could able to create SCZ in Mumbai, JNPA, and ultimately could create that kind of ecosystem. As a result, now JNPA could able to assist the saturation point. They could able to increase their container handling capacity up to 10 million. First time in the history. एक ताली हो जाए. Because this is remarkable, because ये जो सफल हमने जो सफलता प्राप्त की है, इसका पीछे आप लोगों का भी योगदान है, देशवासियों का योगदान है. ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ पोर्ट सेक्टर में जो काम किया है उन्हीं का सब कुछ किया हुआ, ऐसा हो नहीं सकता. क्योंकि हमारे हिंटरलैंड में जो भी प्रदेश है, प्रदेश का जो किसान है, जो एमएसएमई सेक्टर का अलग अलग इंडस्ट्री सेक्टर में जो भी लोग हैं, उनकी द्वारा निर्मित जो भी सामग्री होता है, ये ग्लोबल मार्केट में पुश करने के लिए हमारे ट्रेन हो या रोड हो, ट्रक हो, इससे हमारे पोर्ट तक उलाते हैं. तो इससे साफ जाहिर है कि देशवासियों का जो सहयोग है, इसके वजह से आज हमारे पोर्ट ने अपना परफॉर्मेंस, अपना शक्ति दिखाने का काम किया है. तो दिस इज द वे दिस पर्टिकुलर सागरमाला प्रोग्राम had been properly implemented, and also coastal community development. It is not that we are only simply developing our infrastructure facility, but at the same time we will have to take care of the people living on the coastal areas. 9 coastal states, 4 like union territories. In all these areas, whoever is residing, those people's welfare must be thought about, and for their recruitment, for their creating ample opportunity for their earning source. So these are all being put into this particular program. That is why for the fishermen we are creating fishing harbor, like in the 11 numbers of fishing harbor in both East Coast and West Coast. So this is how, and also we are developing the skills of development center for maritime trade. So that is why their son and daughters are all being trained, and ultimately they have been positioned in the different sector for their better living and better earnings. So this is one of the sector, coastal community development. Then there is coastal and inland waterways. So coastal shipping and inland waterways, for both the sector, for the promotion of all these sectors, different kind of scheme has also been taken and ultimately implemented. So I believe this is how in the last 11 years the success story are being created, and I believe that this is how the cargo handling capacity from 855, that was up to 2014, it was million metric ton, but it jumped up to 1690 million metric ton by our 12 major ports. This is, but altogether it is 2600 million metric ton. But our target is very clear. By 2047, the cargo handling capacity of Indian port will increase up to 10,000 million metric ton. 10,000. And as a shipbuilding nation, we want to position ourselves within the top 10 shipbuilding nation in the world by 2030. Amritkal Vision 2030. And by 2047, we will be the top 5 shipbuilding nation in the world. So in the different vertical, we have set our target very clear. That is why this 80 lakhs crore investment will be there in the sector of infrastructure development, facility improvement, and quality increased sectors in altogether everywhere. Like this particular initiative will be taken up, and I believe our sector, whatever it is doing, it is because of Honorable Prime Minister's vision and his direction and his untiring effort, and because of the good governance. Because आपको सुशासन का व्यवस्था ना होने से सरकार का काम कभी भी सही नहीं होते. तो इसलिए पिछले 11 साल में जो सुशासन व्यवस्था लागू की गई है, good governance, transparency and accountability, all being very much clear into the mindset of the people of the country. Earlier it was always in the darkness. People had a doubt, apprehension, but those elements are no more in the mindset. Very much clear. They know that whatever we are doing, whatever government is taking the initiative, it would be very transparently, it would be deliberate, and whatever scheme government is taking up, all scheme will be implemented with quality and commitment. So all the figures, even it is revealed through the portal either in the app or in the portal and the different digital devices. So I believe this is how the entire government is functioning, and that is why we could able to generate confidence within ourselves that yes, India can become third largest economy by 2029. And we are going to become number one economy, no doubt about it, by 2047. So I hope that this ministry will always get the blessing from you. And please keep on sending your valuable suggestion, valuable kind of, inputs, whatever you have within your mindset or within your, entire exercise. If you, put a thought into this particular maritime sector, because this waterways, it is a gifted connectivity. Gifted, it is not humanly created. It is gifted, whether it is ocean or sea, coastal or inland waterways. It is all being created by God, and we are to explore it properly with our advanced scientific approach without affecting the ecology and environment. We do not want to grow our economy at the cost of ecology and environment. It is very much clear. That is why National Hydrogen Mission have come into place. That is why we have been directed by Honorable Prime Minister, develop green shipping, green port, green vessels, so that there cannot be any emission of carbon. Let the creature living on the planet Earth live peacefully without any problem. If we could create pollution, then definitely, ultimately, we are inviting trouble to our life. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, we have learned a lesson why nature is important for us. It is not that only human life, plant life, animal life, and living organism. For all forms of life, this environment, protection, preservation is absolutely essential for all of us. प्रकृति और प्राणी, प्रकृति रहेगा तो प्राणी रहेगा. प्रकृति प्राणियों के लिए सजी गई है. Don't you agree with me? So I believe this commitment must stand tall all the time in our approach of life. इसलिए परम आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने देश में लोगों का बीच में विशेष रूप से अनुभव जगाने के लिए एक पेड़ मां के नाम, कितना बढ़िया कार्यक्रम है, और हमें इसका महत्व को गंभीर रूप से उपलब्धि करना चाहिए. एक पेड़ मां के नाम, हमारी कहावत है, पेड़ रहेगा तो हम रहेंगे. Even in the sector of water, I have always been saying like this: water to wisdom, water to wealth, water to weather, water to the world. This is the power given by water. Water is the source of all kind of energies. इसलिए ये पानी रहेगा तो प्राणी रहेगा, और पानी साफ रहेगा तो पर्यावरण भी साफ रहेगा. जल से जलवायु, water to weather. This must be realized. So I believe with these few words, I am very thankful to all of you. You have given a lot of patience. मैं पढ़ने में ठीक नहीं हूँ, इसलिए मुझे हमारी जितना भी स्टाफ है सब बोलने लगता है कि आप मत पढ़िए, कि आप पढ़ने में ठीक नहीं है, क्योंकि I hope that I have not made you bored, particularly tired in this approach. And anyway, I am especially thankful to Business Standard. I am just telling भट्टाचार्य जी और डोभाल जी को मैंने बता रहे थे, मुझे ये बहुत अच्छा लगा. बिजनेस स्टैंडर्ड, बिजनेस करना है तो स्टैंडर्ड मेंटेन करो. यानी कि whatever you do with quality and commitment. I believe that is the powerful message you have percolated to the ground through this. है ना? So मैं तो आज इससे यही अनुभव के हिसाब से मैंने हासिल की है। और हमारे भी परम आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का यही कहना है कि देश के लिए जो भी काम करोगे ये काम सही होना चाहिए, जहां निष्ठा होना चाहिए, भक्ति होना चाहिए, ईमानदारी होना चाहिए। जो उन्होंने करके दिखाया है, साबित किया है, नीति, रणनीति और नियत अगर एक साथ जुड़ जाए, इट्स लाइक बिल्डिंग ए बेटर हेल्थ, होलिस्टिक हेल्थ केयर, तन मन आत्मा, तीनों को अगर आपने जोड़ लिया थ्रू द प्रैक्टिस ऑफ योगा, यू कुड इंटीग्रेट 3 पावरफुल कंपोनेंट ऑफ ह्यूमन बॉडी। अगर इसको एक साथ जोड़ लिया, आप सबसे शक्तिशाली है, हमेशा तंदुरुस्त रहेंगे और हमेशा खूबसूरत रहेंगे। सो दिस इज हाउ ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैज प्रूफ दैट नीति, रणनीति और नियत ये अगर सही है तो आप समाज के लिए, देश के लिए भक्ति भावनाओं से बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं। नीति और रणनीति कितना बेहतर क्यों ना हो, अगर नियत खराब है सब बिगड़ जाता है। तो इसलिए यूपीए रिजिम में शायद ऐसा ही हुआ। जो भी हो, मैं आप सबको हृदय से धन्यवाद देता हूं और मैं माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के आशीर्वाद से मुझे जो सेवा करने के लिए मौका मिली है पोर्ट, शिपिंग, वाटरवेज मंत्री के हिसाब से, मैं भी चाहता हूं कि हमेशा ईमानदारी से काम करो। अगर हमारे मंत्रालय की कोई भी आपकी शिकायत है, आप प्लीज़ हमें बताइएगा। अगर क्या सुधारना है, कुछ जोड़ना है, व्हाट मोर वी कुड डू फॉर द कंट्री, फॉर द पीपल, प्लीज एक्सटेंड योर मीनिंगफुल सजेशन। थैंक यू। जय हिंद।
Hello. It's on. Can you hear me? Hello. Hello. ठीक है. Many thanks, Honorable Minister, for that comprehensive and high quality address. You gave us the full 360-degree view about the maritime infrastructure, the key flagship schemes in Sagarmala, the vision and the thought behind the 80 lakh crore plan, right from EXIM competitiveness to port capacity, keeping up with the green economy, developing the coastal tourism, coastal lifestyle, to the ambition of taking India to be a global hub of shipbuilding. You said top 10 by 2030 and top 5 by 2047. I have 2-3 questions, taking off from, you mentioned about Vadhavan port. It will be the biggest port in India, 76,000 crore investment. There's one coming up in Nicobar as well. So when do you think we can see light of the day? These ports will see the light of the day.
Yeah, first part, there will be two phases. First phase will be expected to complete by 2029 and second phase by 2037. So these are the 2 phases we have set for the as a target for the completion of the construction.
For the Vadhavan port.
Yeah, Vadhavan port, that is all-time biggest port after independence. इतना बड़ा पोर्ट कभी भी बने नहीं। और अभी आपको बता दूं मैं Vadhavan port का विशेषता क्या है? Why? What is the significance of this particular port? This port is going to create a city, port-led city development. This is one of the vertical also. Out of the port activities, a city will be born. City का means infrastructure, institution, industry, employment, opportunity, all kind of ecosystem will come up. This, and for your information, it is a very exciting figure. कुल मिलाके बड़ावान पोर्ट बनने का बाद हमें इससे 12 लाख लोगों को डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली हम एम्प्लॉयमेंट दे पाएंगे।
12 लाख, ओह
12 लाख लोगों को, यानी कि now even in JNP also, directly and indirectly all together, 3 lakhs people's involvement is there. JNP, yeah. And this is the power of the port modernization, port capacity enhancement, and port operation, and port created facilities. पोर्ट का मतलब है यहाँ आपको वार्ड मतलब वेयर हाउस से लेकर आपके कनेक्टिविटी से लेकर आपको इंडस्ट्री